October 2nd, everyone. Welcome back to the Midwest Horror Network's October 2020 special, where we are dissecting all of the Simpsons Treehouse of Horror episodes. Today we are going with the Season 3 episode, Treehouse of Horror 2. I'm Brandon, and of course I'm with...
You're with Mark right here.
David.
Zach!
Zach's trying so hard not to look at me right now. He's doing like the hand to the face, like, nope, not gonna. It's one of those things where you look up at the ceiling and you're like, that's a really nice paint color up there.
Look at that tree. That's a nice tree.
That's a nice boulder.
Yes,
That's a nice boulder.
Yeah.
Today we are here to talk about the second Simpsons Halloween special.
Alert.
Overall, I don't think it holds up as well as the first one.
Nope.
I think you're being very kind.
Yeah, I think he is being very kind
I
on
think
that
you're being
one.
very kind. Actually, not only that, and I know Brandon's going to do the intro, but even in the intro, that Marge's lips didn't match up to the fucking audio. Like that's where we were
You
at.
can tell they were still in the early days of their animation.
Yeah.
With this one.
Oh yeah.
In fact, I do think this one did have quite a few production problems. Like, I think there were a lot of last-minute additions and everything.
Oh.
Interesting.
But we'll cover some of those as we go through the segments.
Sweet.
Okay.
But yeah, starting with the intro, Marge comes out of a red curtain on the stage, much like the last Treehouse of Horror, and basically she just gives another introduction, saying this episode is much scarier and more violent, and she thinks we snuck in some bad language too, and she's trying to convince parents not to let their kids watch, but if they didn't listen last year, they're not going to listen this year. And then we go to the title, Simpsons Halloween Special 2, where we go through a graveyard, got some more tombstones. This time we had Bambi's mom, Jim Morrison, in a very hippie-ish gravestone, Walt Disney, whose gravestone was frozen, and lose weight now, ask me how. Am I missing one? I feel like I might be missing one.
No, that last one was pretty great.
The last two are definitely the best. The Walt Disney one, especially nowadays. And lose weight now, ask me.
All I needed was like a call, a 1-800
1-800 number? Yeah.
Right, flow, yeah.
So then Homer is home alone watching the news when some trick-or-treaters come to the door, who are Kearney and Jimbo, two of the town bullies. Homer asks them, hey, aren't you guys a little old for this? You're not even wearing costumes. But they threaten to egg the house if he doesn't give them candy, so he gives them all the candy. But they egg the house anyway.
Because they're dicks.
Yep. Marge returns with the kids from trick-or-treating. Bart's wearing an executioner costume. Lisa, a totem pole costume. Was Maggie wearing a costume?
Oh, witch mask.
Yeah, little witch
Yeah,
mask,
little witch
where
mask.
she promptly face plants into the floor
Yep.
as she enters the room.
And Marge had her hair streaked like the Bride of Frankenstein.
Pretty cool.
She tells the kids only eat one piece of candy tonight, otherwise they'll have nightmares. But Bart, Lisa, and Homer are just gorging on candy. And yeah, they're laughing at the idea of 3 bad nightmares. We then cut to Lisa in bed, just still gorging on candy right before she falls asleep.
Pretty much looking like Brandon does on any Saturday night.
I don't eat in
That's
bed.
true.
There are
I don't know.
Starburst wrappers right here.
That's on a TV tray in the living room,
Is
Zach.
that actual physical evidence there?
I'm just saying, we have evidence of your
We have
candy
it.
addiction.
It's not an addiction. I can stop anytime I want.
Stop now.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, before we get into the Lisa's Nightmare, our first segment, should we take this time to talk about like trick-or-treating? Does anybody have any trick-or-treating memories or anything?
Oh, God. Quite a few of them, man.
I mean, they were kind of simple for me. I don't remember anything special happening. I feel like I have a story so fucking long ago that I'm like,
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
I remember having fun, but that's about it. Like, nothing special happened. It was just a, fun, simple time.
Well, dude, I actually, I like there's a reason why I never leave town around Halloween. Is because shit my dad does. And actually, Zach is the only person who has.
Actually, yeah,
who's
this is interesting.
It has been at my house, and my dad actually has a tradition. What he does is he brings a fire pit out to the front lawn, and he gives candy to the kids and beer and wine to the adults. And everyone comes to my house, and there's almost like there's a party, like a separate party inside the garage for all of like the friends and family and shit. And then like we conduct a party for the neighborhood out on the driveway. People come and visit. A neighbor comes over and makes amazing apple pie martini shots, martinis that are pretty fucking delicious. And we give candy to the kids, man. It's actually a really, really fun time. We've been doing it for, since all of his kids stopped going out trick-or-treating. Like, that's when he started the tradition. But yeah, I have a bunch of memories of going, trick-or-treating and seeing a lot of cool decorations and, like in some ways that people have gotten creative. Like this lady who made like a maple syrup like Jello mold and like turned, basically it was a brain mold and like put it out in her front lawn. And she dressed as a witch and it's like, I'm gonna, this is the last trick or treater. This is the last trick or treater as a brain. I'm gonna do that to you. I mean, just fun, stupid shit. I'm actually a big fan of Halloween.
It's the only holiday of the year that's important other than national holidays.
It should be a national holiday. But that being said, it's probably one of the very few times a year that I eat a tremendous amount of candy. I don't have a problem like other people on this podcast.
Even on Halloween, I still don't eat that much candy.
I wouldn't say I have a problem, Mark. I'm pretty good at it.
I have a solution, sir.
Halloween is fucking awesome, dude. This is
why
like
you have kids, man, so it must be a little different for you.
Definitely different. Taking them out there and experience their reactions and stuff. So every year we have a different costume for them. They, it's really fun. Especially because like every year they have like some kind of different fad or whatever they want to get into. So it's like, all right, you guys want to be Power Rangers this year, or next year is all right, I want to be a witch, or next year is I want to be Frankenfurter. It's like, oh, okay, that was a big jump.
Okay. Nothing quite like was that your son or daughter that wanted to be Frankenfurter? It could go either way.
Just like Frankenfurter.
Yeah, pretty much. That means two things.
I think one of the most hilarious things is what the year episode 1 came out. Me and my buddy both dressed up as Darth Maul and started having fights with every Jedi we found.
That is pretty cool.
And here's the thing: we both pretty trained with dual lightsabers, so we would just gang up on him and start beating the shit out of the kids.
How dare you like episode 1?
No.
I'm the best part of this movie.
How dare you like the Jedi? Be a Sith, you sucker!
Oh my god.
Episode 1 is a great movie, Mark. Don't deny it.
I will never say that.
You will say it.
I will say it's a mediocre movie at best. I don't give a shit how many Death Stars you give me. I remember one year when I was a kid, I really wanted to be Indiana Jones because I just watched Raiders of the Lost Ark. But there were zero costumes available for the Raiders of the Lost Ark. So the most accurate part of my costume was the legitimate fedora from Disney, like outside of the Raiders of the Lost Ark show they have. But the rest of my costume was like this makeshift fucking coat, brown coat, and like a button-up shirt, and like a revolver and a whip. But I had to use a black whip from my last year's Zorro costume. Like, you don't know who the fuck I was. They're like, well, who are you, honey? I'm Indiana Jones. Sure you are. And then I actually, what was really cool though, like when Crystal Skull came out, like when I was in college, I got to actually do a legitimate Indiana Jones costume because they had them available. And I got to do a repeat and avenge my 10-year-old self from a really shitty Indiana Jones costume. And then one year I did Terminator. I had the legit biker leather pants and legit leather jacket, the whole 9 yards, pump shotgun. I didn't have the twirly shotgun, unfortunately. Couldn't find that, but I got a pump one. And sunglasses. Yeah, I did a lot of movie shit, but like a lot of normal kids didn't do that. I pretty much every one of my costumes was something movie oriented.
Nice.
And actually, I'm pretty sure every one of my costumes in my entire life has been from a movie. I've never gotten something generic. I'm sorry. One year when I was really lazy, I got like a white mask, but besides that has been legitimately from a film of some kind.
So I'm going to ask the question that our audience is definitely wondering right now. Did you keep the whip in leather pants?
Leather, the whip, I lost at some point. The leather pants, I kept for many years until they no longer fit me. I went from being a cool Terminal costume to Kiss on their reunion tour. Sometime after high school, I gained an ass, so I can no longer fit into leather pants. So it was an unfortunate part, but yeah, it went from like really cool Terminator to sad old rocker. So I'm like, nope, I should probably get rid of these.
You went from Arnold Schwarzenegger in 1984 to Arnold Schwarzenegger 2018.
Yep, pretty much. Actually, even worse, like Arnold Schwarzenegger, like 2009 or 8, when he was actually the governor of California.
That must have been a stressful time.
Ooh. Yeah, I don't really remember much from my trick-or-treating days. Like, I remember one year my dad made a night costume for me out of cardboard, not out of
How the fuck did he do that?
That would have been all over the news.
Or Brandon was secretly Peter Pan and somebody tore your shadow away from you.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I lived in a pretty normal neighborhood when I was a kid. Normal-ish.
I mean, you were there, so how normal could it possibly have been?
Yeah, there are some stories my parents have told me over the years where it's like, oh, so that's what was going on there at those houses. That's creepy.
Okay, okie dokie.
But yeah, I just always remember it's like I'd always have a pillowcase full of candy by the time I got home.
Nice. Yeah. No, I was.
And then 5th grade hit, I got braces, and it's like half the candy I would get I couldn't eat anymore during that time.
Oh, that's
so that's when so that was pretty much my last Halloween. That's kind of how I fell out of dressing up for Halloween. Is I did dress up that year and I would answer the door and give out candy, and then the next year I still had braces and it was like what's the point? So that's kind of how I fell out of dressing up for Halloween. But that is also how I got into like the Friday 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street movies. Because since I stayed home, TNT would show those movies all night. That's also how I first saw Halloween 3. And I knew everybody thought it was terrible. And then I watched it on TNT. I'm just like, this is nowhere near as bad as people say it is.
No.
And now it's actually my favorite of the Halloween movies. Bite me, Zach.
No, that's no.
And we think that's adorable, Brendan.
It's a good movie.
Sure it is.
Dude, I actually remember being a little bit older and going to the bars. I remember one year after my dad was done with all his stuff. When Halloween had hit on a Friday or a Saturday. We went out to one of the local bars. There were not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 Ace Ventura Pet Detectives running around in that bar.
Jesus Christ.
And it was all different versions of the movie, too. Like, one of them was one with a regular thing, regular guy. The other one was, there was 2 of them with the tutus on when he went to the insane asylum. And another one actually had the same, crazy colorful shirt, but with a parrot on top of his shoulder. It was pretty great.
Nice.
I took pictures with as many as I possibly could.
Did any of them bend over and talk out of their ears?
One of them did.
Okay. So the night wasn't a complete waste.
One of them did. And then, obviously, the craziest thing, too, was going to headquarters with you guys. I had never seen so many variety of unique costumes in my entire life. At headquarters.
Yeah.
Dude, there was literally one of the shower costume from Karate Kid running around. Like,
really?
That's how crazy specific it was.
Shit was ridiculous.
Oh, it was absolutely ridiculous. I felt bad for that guy. He probably, it'd be a bitch.
I was going to say, moving around in that thing is a pain in the ass.
Oh, dude, it's ridiculous.
What we need to do, though, is this year we need to find a costume contest and do a group costume of the shunting from society.
I knew it.
Dude, I'm telling you, we need to do the Ages of Hetfield.
Oh, God.
We're gonna hear Brandon's idea until the 31st. It's He's gonna kick and scream until we do it.
Well, I mean, with how many times Mark brings up society during these podcasts, that has to be the capper.
Well,
I finally enter a costume contest as the shunting.
I'm down for it. You have to convince these other two now.
Dude, if we do the Ages of Headfield, though, Brandon's gonna end up being the Saint Anger one from the documentary. Full mental breakdown.
Going as Corey Feldman to splatter.
That's
what I'm doing.
God.
Should we do the Ages of Corey Feldman?
Oh
Yeah, let's do that. That's what I'm doing.
Wasn't this a Simpsons podcast?
I think so.
Well, there was a period of time where Lisa Simpson was obsessed with the Coreys, so...
What?
Oh yeah, she
Yeah.
was. I remember
That
that
is an episode we need to watch.
Yeah.
And everybody forgets there were 2 Coreys. One of them died, but yeah.
Wait, there were?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Right,
right.
there were. That was a big thing in the 80s. Like it was the Coreys, the very very big teen heartthrobs during that time.
All right.
And we all know what happened to all of them, unfortunately. As what happens to most teen heartthrobs. That. A lot of that.
Lots of cocaine.
And as it continues, for you, I award nothing.
No. For you, I bequeath you.
Bequeath you.
Jesus!
So moving on, David, tell us about Lisa's Nightmare. Now, this is the
All right.
only Treehouse of Horror that does not give titles to the segments, but there are episode guides that do call Lisa's Nightmare the Monkey's Paw. So,
Nice.
Real quick, though, one thing before you get into it, because this is important. The one thing I will say about this episode, I liked how they tied everything in. I thought this was an interesting way to tie everything in. It made it more streamlined than just Bart telling a story up in a treehouse. It's kind of it was more of a unique way to flow the narrative through and through.
Yeah.
So
I think they do this a lot, pretty much, for most of their episodes, where they're tying things in like that. So
fair
it
enough.
works.
So tell us about Lisa's Nightmare.
This one's definitely my favorite of the 3 segments. The Simpsons start off, I think they go on vacation to Morocco. Homer spots a merchant, or he spots the monkey paw that merchant's selling. So he goes over there to talk about that. Merchant explains that he gets 4 wishes for whoever, holds it.
which the merchant also warns him against it. But
Yeah.
it's like, so why is he selling it if he doesn't want to sell it?
Yeah, it's... But... Anyway, the merchant, warns Homer that the hand's gonna bring a lot of misfortune when used. So obviously it disregards whatever the merchant says. Yeah, you get 4 wishes. So the Simpsons are headed back, to the States or whatever, and Homer gets caught trying to sneak in some souvenirs on the plane.
You will pay us $2 American dollars.
Anyway, they get back. They're in the house and they're trying to figure out what to basically use their first wish on. Where while they're trying to figure that out, Maggie grabs the hand and makes her own wish. And there's a luxury car that appears in front of the house, and Homer gets really excited. He's like, "Oh, good baby, it's a luxury car!" And there's a knock on the door, and there's a new pacifier there for Maggie.
Nice.
Car leaves.
You know what's
Yeah.
something hilarious if you really think about it? Maggie's the only one that did get fucked over by one of her
Yeah.
wishes.
Yeah.
I was waiting for her to heal over and die or something. Nope.
No. Maggie's the only
There's a
one
new
that
pacifier. It's like, all right.
didn't walk away with shitty results from her wish.
Nice.
So there is something to be said about that.
I mean, the rest of the family was disappointed.
I mean,
Sure.
that's
But I mean, that's,
She wasn't.
That's a huge stretch, though.
yeah,
Yeah.
that is a huge stretch.
Yeah.
Like, the consequences are supposed to be brought onto you, not like everyone else.
True.
I suppose so. I think we're overthinking it more than the writers thought of this episode.
Probably.
Yeah. Then I think the second wish was for fortune and fame.
Yep.
Where like they're pretty much everywhere, advertising, making albums, movies.
It got awful meta there for a
Yeah.
second. Little too meta.
Are there anything these people won't do? It's like, are you fucking serious?
Dude, Bart's on an ad for a mammogram.
It's like, really? Mammogram, man!
All right, that one was pretty fucking funny.
The first episode wasn't that bad. It actually had some funny moments.
No, and like now that I'm thinking about it more, it actually was pretty funny.
Oh yeah, this is the one I've remember for a while, like watching these episodes. Like as soon as I saw the monkey paws, like all right, I know which one this is. I love it.
Here we go. So what ended up happening next, David?
So they get tired of that.
Well, they don't get tired of it. It's everybody hates them.
Yeah, everybody hates them. They
Yeah.
get tired of the Simpsons in general. They don't get tired of the fame. It just, yeah.
And then world peace happens.
Yeah, Lisa hides behind the couch and wishes for world peace. And then Homer turns around and is like, Lisa, how selfish of you.
And Zach and I looked at each other and we're like,
As soon as they started
Yeah.
throwing the guns away, it's like, yep.
Yep. Obviously, guess what happens.
This is sad how cynical we are.
oh, we're
Oh, yeah.
terribly cynical.
It's like, well, we know what's coming next.
See, like Brandon's a very soft cynical, like almost to himself cynical. Zach and I are blatant cynics. Blatant cynics.
I'm a little both.
All the guns are gone. What's gonna happen now?
David.
Aliens come. Enslave them.
This episode's appearance of Kang and Kodos.
Yes. Who apparently appear in every episode,
Yep.
right?
Which there is. I can't. I watched the commentaries for the first few seasons back when I was a teenager, so it's been like decades, centuries since I've watched them. But there was
85 years ago.
there was one episode where they mentioned that the good thing about Halloween episodes is if they're short on time, they can just extend the laughter of King and Kodos. And I
Aw.
think they definitely
Nice.
did that for this
Wow.
one.
That explains a lot.
Yeah.
I was expecting at least like an Austin Powers Dr. Evil gag where they ran out of breath or something, but no, we did not receive that. I was cheated.
But how do the aliens take over, David?
Pretty much with what? Whips?
I think it was a slingshot and
Slingshot
a club.
and clubs and
And
whips.
Lenny wishes that they saved an A-bomb or two.
Yeah.
Come on, we should have saved an A-bomb or two.
Oh,
I go to the gun store guy. Hey, you save anything? I'm a fucking banker now. What?
And then after that, they all gather in the kitchen trying to figure out what to do next. Because they're, enslaved. And Homer's like, all right, I want a turkey sandwich, and I don't want nothing funny here.
No zombie turkeys.
No zombie
I don't want to
turkeys.
turn into a turkey myself.
And then here he goes, a perfect sandwich. He examines it and eats it. It's like, okay. Turkey's kind of dry. The turkey's dry.
He gets over dramatic about the fucking turkey. You son of a bitch! God damn it!
What demon from the depths of hell created thee?
Completely ignoring the fucking alien invasion that's going on right outside.
Nah, fuck the alien invasion, dude. It has
Yeah.
nothing to do with my dry turkey.
Fucking, I love Flanders though, dude. Hodly, fellow slave.
I'm just gonna say it. Flanders is absolutely the best part of The Simpsons.
Yeah, this
One of
is
the
He
best
really
yeah.
is.
So Ned gets the monkey spot from Homer, David.
Pretty much, yeah. He goes outside to throw the paw in the garbage, and that's like, hey, is that one of those hand things that, the monkey paws that grants you 4 wishes? Like, yeah.
Yeah, Homer's about to warn him, and he's like, oh yeah.
Yeah. He's like, here you go. And then Ned is like, all right, thank you. And Ned wishes technically wishes the aliens gone. Or he's like, let's get rid of these pesky aliens. And then you see
Yeah, and then-
Mo
well,
getting
before
chased.
that, yeah, Kodos is chasing Mo, and then he wishes. Then Mo starts
Yeah.
chasing him with a boar with a nail. Oh, he's got a boar with a nail in it. Run, Kodos!
They're all running their spaceship.
You know what's so funny? I wasn't laughing as hard when I was watching the episode, but now that we're recanting it, I was like, you know what?
It's because we're picturing something really
episode.
stupid compared to what we actually saw.
I guess so. I don't know. Like
It's just imagine Mo chasing some asshole alien with a board and a nail. You son of a bitch, get over here!
Enslave humanity, will ya?
In his fucking accent, to enslave humanity, will ya?
Dude, I love Hank Azaris talking about that was they asked him, how did you get the voice of Mo? He's like, that's my shitty Al Pacino impression.
Really?
I was like, Yeah.
That's my shitty Al Pacino impression. This guy's awesome.
Yeah, that was pretty much the end, and they got a crowd lifting Ned Flanders up, celebrating. And
And
that
then
was
he
pretty much.
turns his house
Turns
into
it,
a
oh
castle.
yeah, so
Which-
let's change this up
That
a
was
little
one
bit.
of the last minute production things, because like at the very last shot of it is Homer and his yard saying, "I wish I had a monkey's paw." And if you look closely in the background, you can see Ned's house is completely unchanged. It's not a castle. Like you just see the edge of his regular house.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh really? I didn't even notice that.
that is interesting.
That's funny.
Yeah, there were a lot of last minute changes to this episode. I don't remember all of them, but I know that that was like the biggest one.
All right,
I'm gonna spruce up the Elm Homestead castle. It's like what?
So,
Damn
Yeah.
so David, you said this was your favorite of the
Oh
episode.
yeah, definitely,
It's
by far.
jumping ahead here. It's also my favorite of this episode. I do think it is the most complete story out of the three.
Yes. Agree.
And it was also probably the funniest overall. And like the second episode, I feel like didn't have an ending, and I feel like the third one didn't have a middle.
Yeah.
I think
What was
you're, I think, I think
what
you're
was the
also
last one
being
again?
too nice.
Well, we'll get into it when we actually get into them. But
Yeah, for
Mark,
sure.
Mark, what did you think of Monkey's Paw?
Oh, I enjoyed it, and like I said, I don't, for some reason, when we were watching the episode, I wasn't laughing as hard, and as we were all talking about the jokes and everything else, I'm like, oh, this actually was really fucking funny, and there were a lot of good gags. The whole thing, the thing about the $2, fucking great.
Yeah.
And then obviously the whole thing about the getting rid of all the guns, and just you can understand too, like like just to set the scene, like when we watch this, we all watch this together, and don't think for a second that we're all just like dead, like blinder focus on the thing. We're all looking at each other, reacting to how we're reacting. We'll say a few things. We're not as vocal as like when we watch Goosebumps, but we will say some things here and
Yeah.
there. And then just that one thing, like Zach and I were like, I wonder where this is going. You can almost like count like aliens in 5, 4, 3, 2. There they are. It was a lot of there was some fun, pretty fun gags in the episode. Overall, it was a pretty good episode. Definitely not like I imagine. Again, I still imagine what I've said before is I think that I will enjoy later episodes.
Yeah.
I think they're still trying to kind of get their footing, and I think the consistency is going to get even better and better as time goes on.
Just like one thing in the beginning of this segment that I forgot is like when he comes back with the Palmar, he's like, "Where did you get that from?" He's like, "Right over there." And it's like this sandstorm, and I think the whole stand's gone. It's like, "Where did it go?" And the camera pans. Oh, there it is.
Don't worry, it was just off camera.
And he was fucking waving.
Which that was another of the production issues, is the animators didn't animate the shopkeeper's lips moving when he says, "You'll be sorry." in
Yep.
that
Oh
shot.
yeah.
I noticed that. I'm like, that looked a little weird.
And they didn't have the time or the money to send it back and get it fixed. This was before the Simpsons could demand things.
True.
Zach, what did you think of the Monkey's Paw?
It's definitely the best episode of the bunch. Probably my second favorite of the segments so far.
Yeah.
I still think the haunted house one was the funniest.
Yeah, that was good stuff.
Yeah. Before we move on, has anybody ever read the actual original short story, The Monkey's Paw?
No.
I've heard it. It's not one that really sticks to the memory.
Yeah, The Monkey's Paw is very iconic, and even Jordan Peele named his production company after The Monkey's Paw. In all honesty, I think the Simpsons version is better than the actual original short story. Because
Fair
stuff
enough.
actually happens in it. Cut to commercial, and then when the show came back, Lisa is waking up Bart. She tells him she had a bad dream. Can she sleep in his bed? Bart says no. She then offers him a candy necklace, at which point he just takes it, eats it all in one go, gives her the string, which is disgusting.
gross.
Says climb aboard.
It's such a brother thing to do.
It really is. And then we go into, and as Bart's falling back asleep, he looks at his crusty Jack-in-the-Box, and we go into Bart's Nightmare, also known as the Bart Zone. Zach, tell us about the Bart Zone.
So Bart Zone is a very heavy Twilight knockoff type of thing.
Twilight Zone, not Twilight.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Two very different things. Zach.
Very different things.
Yes, they are.
What? The
That just shows how boring this episode is and how little I care.
dude, I can't begin to tell you how many differences there are there. Oh God.
Yeah, so this is a Twilight Zone type of episode. It has the narration and everything. And, yeah, apparently Bart is essentially God and can do whatever the hell he wants at the drop of a hat. If you have any unhappy thoughts, he'll fuck with you. Like turn you into a dog.
Yeah.
A dog with your human head, because reasons.
Actually, that's pretty accurate.
Yeah.
And then also make the cat breathe fire.
Also give it like super long legs and a fucking party hat, I believe. It's just like, okay.
Problems with the episode aside, that cat redesign was pretty cool.
Freaking flower coming out of his ass.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, everyone is essentially terrified of him. They do everything they can to please him. He goes to school. Everybody's praising him. They rewrite history to accommodate his fucking test answers. So America was founded in 1936 and discovered by some dude.
The name of our country is no longer America. It's Bonerland.
Boner.
I mean,
that delivery.
The one answer though isn't completely inaccurate. I mean,
It was found by somebody.
It
I mean, you're
was-
not entirely wrong. It was found by somebody,
I
but...
mean-
I mean, let's see. Principal Skinner gets on the intercom and starts singing a really annoying song. What song was it again?
Ragtime Girl.
Yeah, hello my
Yeah.
baby, hello my honey.
Oh, yeah. And he does it so just boringly. It's like, okay.
Yeah, it was pretty painful.
Oh, yeah. Before he gets to school, so he gets on the bus and he what's the dude's name?
Otto.
Otto? Yeah, he's like, I want to drive the bus today. I can't let you do that, little dude. Oh, wait, you're the little dude with the powers. Cool. And he has Otto on his hands and knees pushing the gas and brake pedals. And he's going at top speed. He speeds right by the two cops. It's just like, oh, hey, Bart, what's up? As he zooms by, just causing chaos and mayhem. And then we cut to the front of the school and the bus is just heeled over in
Overturned.
flames.
I do like Otto's line of, "This is fun, isn't it? We're all gonna die, aren't we?"
Dude, you missed a perfect like Ralph moment in that whole scene.
That's a good point.
Like,
Well, this was before Ralph was the Ralph we know.
oh, okay,
Yeah.
all right, fair
yeah,
enough.
this
All
was
right.
before that.
I'm in danger.
If there was ever a moment to put that joke in, it was
Yeah.
right there.
Let's see. Oh, what else happens? So Bart comes home. Homer's watching a football game, and he really wants his team to make a fucking field goal. Bart comes in. I want to watch Krusty. No, goddammit! I want to watch this fucking game.
$50 on it.
Yeah, he has $50 on this score or whatever. So all of a sudden, Homer disappears. Bart sits down. He's just watching the game now. All of a sudden, you hear the narrator. All right, so the ball is officially turned into an old middle-aged bald guy, and then you just see Homer go smack in the middle of the fucking what's it called? What the hell is it called, Mark? You're the football guy here.
Goalpost?
Yeah.
Goalpost.
Yeah, the goalpost. He does not do a double doink, sadly, but that's neither here nor there. So yeah, Homer loses $50. He gets his face smashed into a fucking goalpost.
Which
And then Bart-
I thought that was funny.
That was
and
alright.
what really makes this Lisa's reaction when Homer disappears. She's just looking around, and then as they announce, it's like, "The ball, it looks good. Oh, it's turning into a fat bald guy." And Lisa just perks up like, "What?"
And then it's just like, all right, well, when something strange happens, we all know who to thank. Thanks, Bart. It's just like, okay.
The Krusty bit though was pretty funny.
Krusty he looks like, oh my god, just
We've been up for 360 days.
No, 300. I think it was
Hours.
365.
It's just 5 days.
Because the 10-year-old boy won't let us stop. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to go to Side Shop Bomb and get some of those over-the-counter stay away pills.
Yeah, that was pretty fucking funny.
It's like, holy shit, man.
Yeah, that was pretty great.
And now, Homer's sneaking up on Bart, thinking to himself, I just need to sneak up on Bart and not think about hitting him in the head and killing him with this chair. As long as I don't think about that, I'll be poof. As he gets to Bart, he turns him into a jack-in-the-box. And then at that point, Marge is like, "All right, that's it. We're done here. No, you come here, please." So they take Bart to fucking what
Counseling.
Is it? Yeah, counseling.
Dr.
therapy.
Marvin Monroe.
Oh, he's actually a common character.
He's been in a couple episodes.
Oh, okay. That was the first time I've ever seen him before.
Yeah, which if you look, and it's quick, but on the window to his office, it does say Bonerland on it. So
Oh, really?
Jesus Christ.
Nice.
Nice.
All right. But yeah, he's examining Bart and he's examining the father, and he's just like, you two essentially need to spend more time together. So they go to a baseball game, they go to a roller coaster, and mind you, Homer's still a jack-in-the-box during this whole thing. And they're having this nice father-son bonding moment. And then at the end, Homer's trying to tuck Bart into bed as a jack-in-the-box. He's just moving the blankets with his mouth and teeth. And they have this nice moment, and they love each other. And Bart's just like, I wish there was a way I could repay you. Could you please turn me back into a human? You know what? Yes. So he turns Homer back into a human, and they're both just like, I love you, son. I love you, Dad. They hug each other, and Bart wakes up screaming like a madman. Ah!
Yep, that was the episode.
yeah.
That was the bit.
Wasn't terrible
Like-
like The Raven, but it wasn't as great either.
Screw you, Zach.
Dude.
The Raven was fucking
The
terrible.
Raven
I'm
was
sorry.
fucking
Yeah, it was.
terrible.
Have any of you ever seen the Twilight Zone episode, It's a Good Life? That's the one that they were aping on for this one. Pretty much a kid, there's this little kid, maybe 5 years old. He has the same powers that Bart has in this episode. And he's literally just gotten rid of the entire world except this one town. And everybody is just scared out of their minds. Like, it really is one of the creepiest episodes of the original Twilight Zone. It's a season 3 episode called It's a Good Life. Like, everybody has to have happy thoughts. Nobody can say anything that goes against him. It's based on a short story that was basically a metaphor for living in a totalitarian government. And there's a birthday party for one of the adults later in the episode, and one of them gets a little drunk and starts causing trouble, and the kid does turn him into a jack-in-the-box, but it's not as prominent. Like, you just see the silhouette against the wall. And it's it's been a while since I watched the episode, but I think they pretty much imply that turning him into a jack-in-the-box kills him.
Shit.
And it is like a small town, like it's a farm town, and it gets to the point where it's the kid gets so mad that he makes it snow like really bad to the point where it kills the crops. But everybody has to say, "Oh, it's good that you killed our crops," because everybody's just so afraid to speak up against him.
That's pretty fucking terrifying.
Yeah,
That would be terrifying.
It's a really
Yeah.
good episode.
That's what happens when you make a 5-year-old god.
Joe Dante actually did the remake of it for the Twilight Zone movie in 1983, and that was probably my second favorite segment of the movie. But yeah, the original from season 3 of the Rod Serling Twilight Zone is one of the 10, maybe one of the 5 best episodes.
Nice.
Yeah, definitely. You guys should definitely check it out if you haven't seen it yet.
Nice. I actually remember it was funny when I was watching the whole like classroom scene, and I was like, ugh, this is just not really that good. I actually remember back in the day watching a episode of Fairly Odd Parents, and there's a similar episode where like literally he wishes that he's always right.
Oh yeah, and every time he says something, even if it's wrong, it makes
It
him
makes
right.
it right. Like it's
Yeah.
way funnier. Like literally, they asked him a question like, "How many states are there in the United States?" He's like 49. And then they're like, "No, that's not correct." Literally the principal gets on and says, "Hey everybody, big news! North Dakota and South Dakota have decided to merge into one state." Then literally all the stars change to 49 versus 50. And I'm like, oh, that's a much better way to handle that than what's going on with the principal singing show tunes a cappella.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah,
a really
I
good
think they were
episode.
trying to fill time with that because like they had him do it twice. I did like the Mo prank call though.
I thought the Mo prank call was like, all right, you're trying too hard.
Yeah, it kind of got to a
That
point.
one
I'm
was, like, there's a lot- There's a lot of good Mo prank calls in the show, but that one was like, all right, you're
Yeah,
trying
there's
really
way better.
hard on
There's
that
way
one.
better Mo prank calls.
Yeah.
Much better.
I don't know, that was the highlight of the segment.
But yeah, it's after. I feel like this one doesn't have an ending because it's like it does end with that montage of Jack in the Box, Homer, and Bart, and Supposedly that is like a recreation of like an anti-smoking ad from the 60s. But I mean that would be completely unlike the HBO joke from last episode, from the first Treehouse of Horror. That's a reference that just doesn't hold up now. Like it's complete. I think it was completely lost on you guys. And
Oh yeah.
like it only turned up in my research before we watched it, so it's like it was lost on me before then, and even then it's like okay.
If you do research to understand a joke,
it doesn't hold up.
exactly.
Yeah.
You've lost your point at that point. You can't be like a week later be like
Yeah. But I do like the setup. I do think they did a good job of bringing that story of the Twilight Zone into the Simpsons world. I did think it had some funny moments, but it just completely falls off at the end, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's weird. The guy who did
I did like the Rod Serling-esque voiceover.
I was just gonna say that. That's like one of my favorite narrations of all time. So
Bet you didn't see that coming.
So the third segment.
Yeah. So Zach, you seem like you were just kind of okay on this one.
Yeah, it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't like good or great or anything.
David, what did you think?
Same thing. Like it wasn't the worst one, but definitely was kind of bored, especially towards the end. I mean, I could understand how it ended like that because it is a nightmare, and nightmares do end abruptly. But
we're watching a show.
Yeah,
With stories.
but it didn't do much.
Yeah, and they have said the Treehouse of Horror episodes are the hardest to write because you have 3 stories, so you have like maybe 7 minutes per story as opposed to a whole 22 minutes to go for a full story. So I can understand why a lot of endings, especially towards the later years, do kind of just fall off. But this one just, I don't know, going with the montage just felt very flat for me.
I feel like they were maybe just rushing to get this episode done or something.
Yeah. I do think they made a good decision of getting rid of the wraparound stories at one point, after a certain point, because at some point they just decided it's eating up too much time.
Yeah, but contrast between like the first Treehouse and then the second one, you can definitely tell that they spent a lot of time with the first one. This second episode for the Treehouse, it felt like it was rushed.
Well, it's a lot of that's what a lot of bands say. Yeah. You can spend your whole life writing your first album, but your sophomore album you got to write a lot faster than that.
Yeah. All right, so Zach said Bart wakes up completely terrified that he and his father love each other. I do think that was a good capper, though.
Fair enough.
So Marge and Homer are sleeping. Bart and Lisa come barging in. They're afraid. They had nightmares. They ask if they can sleep in their bed. Homer asks if they're toilet trained. They say yes. Homer looks at his alarm clock. It's 4 a.m. In a couple hours, he has to go to work as he nods off to sleep. Mark, tell us about Homer's nightmare, also known as If Only I Had a Brain.
It's basically a Frankenstein ripoff.
Just way less entertaining.
Way less entertaining. Essentially, it cuts to Homer doing exactly what Homer always does, which is fall asleep at work. And Mr. Burns and Mr. Smithers are watching all the cameras saying, hey, we should fire somebody to get everybody in a panic. So they fire Homer. Homer ends up getting a job at a graveyard and ends up digging a hole. Meanwhile, Burns and Smithers are attempting to create the perfect employee, which is essentially a Frankenstein robot, but they still need a human brain to go. And for some reason, Mr. Burns thinks it's a really good idea to fucking get a brain out of Homer Simpson, the employee that he just fired, drag it back, even though he's still alive. That was like the one funny part of that whole thing. Stop scaring Smithers. And then beat the shit out of him, take his brain, and put it in, and then realize, oh, wait a minute, I've made a mistake. This robot is actually the same amount of intelligence as Homer is, and just loves donuts, except like 3 times the strength, and goes right through a brick wall to eat donuts.
Dude, he went through like 5 walls.
Something like that. And then, they take out the brain, and then Burns gets crushed by the giant robot. and then you a little bait and switch. You think that they're going to take out his brain, but they do not. They attach his head to Homer. The end.
So now they're like conjoint.
They're conjoint,
essentially.
conjoined heads
Homer wakes
as well.
up. He has Mr. Burns' head on his shoulder.
And yeah, this episode was definitely the weakest of the bunch.
Yeah.
I didn't particularly enjoy it at all. Like most of it fell very, very flat for me. Most of the episode felt like the school scene in the last episode, like flat lined. And I'm like okay, honestly, if I wanted to watch something that makes fun of Frankenstein, I'll watch Young Frankenstein.
Yeah.
It's
What this
I
one really
agree.
needed was more of Homer's brain in the robot.
Sure.
But of course,
Yeah.
they didn't have the time for it. But it's like maybe not cut back to Marge telling the kids, "Oh, Homer hasn't been here for 2 days," and you have a fake Johnny Carson on the TV.
Yeah.
And that was like 30 seconds that could have been used for another joke with Homer's brain and the bot.
Sure.
Potentially, yeah.
And I think they thought that the gag where Homer wakes up and finds Mr. Burns attached to him funnier than it actually was. Like it was almost like I was almost, when I was watching it, I was like when a comedian thinks that they're funnier than they are,
Yeah.
and they kind of go they treat a joke like a magic trick, like ta-da! I
Which-
made a joke.
There is a later Treehouse of Horror that does something similar
All right.
at the end. I'm not going to say what it is, but they do something similar. And I actually think that version was worked into the story better in this one.
Okay.
Which I know for a lot of people it's sacrilegious to say that a later episode did something better than an earlier episode. But there, I said it. And when we get to it, we'll talk about
Well,
it.
I'm not that much of a Ravage Simpsons fan to have
Yeah.
that type of
Me either.
This isn't Star Wars for me. I don't have that much of a horse in the race.
Yeah.
So I can have a
Yeah,
fresh
I-
opinion about things.
I just
Let it
love
go,
The
Zach.
Simpsons. I think every season has its high points and low points.
Of course.
The earlier ones, of course, have more high points than low points, but I do think there are still a lot of high points to the more recent stuff that a lot of people won't acknowledge.
I mean, that's true for most shows, so.
Always, yeah, man.
Yeah, so I'm getting the vibe that this is all of our least favorite of this episode.
Yes.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
agree.
Yeah.
Really, for this segment, my favorite part was just the cemetery bits. That was
Yeah,
really
there
about
was some good
it.
animation in the cemetery.
Yeah, just finding, Homer there, and Smithers like, I don't know if you want this brain. This is Homer Simpson. We just fired him. It's like, really? He starts imagining Smithers as a brain, and is like, never mind. Simpsons will do.
What's
And I did like the line of when they're putting the brain back in Homer and he's saying ow, ow, ow as Burns is doing the needle on him, and Smithers says, "He is alive, sir." Oh, well, I guess I owe you a Coke. I liked that line.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it was.
a couple good lines doesn't make a good segment overall.
And honestly, it could have been a little redundant, but you could have had an opportunity for more tombstone gags in that particular one.
Yeah.
Because there was
Oh,
very
yeah.
few in the opening. That could have been an excellent opportunity to add in even more.
I definitely do think the last two Tombstones really did hit it out of the park. Like the Walt Disney one, especially fucking today.
Yeah.
And then I don't know about the last one, it's going to depend on how old you are, really. Like, if our age, of course, we're going to understand that one. But anybody who's younger to be like, what?
Tell
Yeah.
our audience, Zach.
Infomercials are not going to be lost on most of the newer generation of folks.
Yeah.
I think and I don't and I think it was far enough. I do agree with you, Zach. I think that really did stick the landing, but it was far enough away from the intro that we could have redid some more Tombstone gags. If it was literally like Tombstone gags and then that first episode, Tombstone gags, I would have been like, all right, a little too much. But
To be fair, there was also a lot of tombstones in the first episode.
There
Even
were.
in the
Yeah.
first section, there were more tombstones.
yeah.
We remember you, Toto.
Tonto.
Crazy
it was
Horse
Tonto.
and Not So
Tonto?
Crazy Horse.
Yeah.
That was still my favorite.
And Gandhi.
Gandhi. I fucking love that one.
But yeah, I think this is definitely overall the weakest one.
Yeah. And then there's a little like next week on the Simpsons thing of Homer living with Mr. Burns' head, and it wasn't that funny.
And like once again, it was one of those things like a comedian like pretending to be a magician, like ta-da! You're not.
You think it's funnier than what it really is.
They were
Yeah,
30
exactly.
seconds short on the episode, and they needed to come up with something.
And you came up with that.
Yeah.
That's what you got. Okay.
All right.
Cool.
So yeah, we've already. So I think we're all unanimous on our best and worst. Monkey Paw is the best. Anybody have a different pick?
Nah,
No,
yeah.
not this time.
If Only I Had a Brain, unanimous as the worst. Anybody have a different
Absolutely.
pick? All right, so we're actually in agreement
Yeah.
on the best and worst for this one.
We're gonna have to start writing it down, like how many we agree with. I don't know,
Yeah.
maybe
We're
we
gonna have to
don't.
write down and
Um,
then just put tally marks over. Like, all right, so is this worse than the Raven? Because so far the Raven has set the bar for worst.
That's what
I think
two-
If Only I Had a Brain was worse than
Yeah,
the worst one
I
from
think
the last
so.
one.
Like, at least
I
I
don't know.
giggled at a part or two. And If Only I Had a Brain, the Raven, I sat there, I'm just like, this is fucking boring. Nothing is happening.
Yep.
What about pick for funniest moment from the episode?
For this episode?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and say the world peace thing.
Yeah, definitely the world peace thing.
It's like, well, we know where this is going.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
Yeah.
The Homer's freak out about the turkey thing that was pretty funny.
It was alright.
Yeah. I'm
The
gonna have to say world peace.
World peace. I also liked the world peace. I liked the turkey sandwich.
at least that was very selfish of you.
I did like Mrs. Krabappel saying Bonerland.
Oh, though, you know what though?
And I did like the football turning into Homer.
Yeah, it was pretty
Well,
great.
the football turning into
No.
Homer was alright.
That might be my pick.
the mamma grab joke with the advertisement.
Is there anything they won't do?
Yeah, it's pretty great.
Not these days.
And then there wasn't really a lot of scary or creepy or gross
I
moments in
wouldn't
this
say there was
one,
anything
but
scary or gross.
Is there anything that we can scrounge out of this one for a pick for scariest
And-
or creepiest or grossest?
Not really.
I mean, like, if we're really getting technical, maybe the brain thing.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
that's. I
that's
mean,
my
like
pick,
that's
'cause
it. But like,
the sound effects work on that with the buzz saw going in the skull and the hollowed out head and the echoed snap of the
Yeah.
brainstem. Like
Actu-
that was pretty gross. And
actually,
kinda creepy.
the funniest part. I think the funniest part of that episode though was when it hit the ground. It sounded like a coconut
Yeah.
hitting the ground.
That is true.
So that
I was
did-
waiting for him to be like, "There's nothing here." That would have been funny.
Yeah, that would have been great. Like, oh, there it is. I see it. It's like
Pulls out a fucking peanut.
I'm not gonna say anything.
Or a
Didn't,
pencil.
Marge come, like, right in the beginning, just like, this is gonna be, like, bloodier than the last.
And it wasn't.
It wasn't.
Yeah, it was
Bloodier and scarier than the last.
There was
It's like,
no blood in
what?
this at all.
like her messed up lip singing was lying to me.
Yeah.
The-
I feel like they might have had a different line at first, and they didn't have time to
Maybe.
reanimate. So yeah, overall, my thoughts on this episode: there are some good lines, there are some good gags. There's really only one segment that actually works from beginning to end for me. I do think this one has one of the stronger wraparound stories, so it's not a completely downbeat episode in terms of quality, but it's not one of my favorite Halloween specials overall.
Fair enough.
What are your guys' final thoughts on it?
Disappointing.
Yeah, very disappointing. I thought,
Like, it started off pretty good, but it just dropped the ball like immediately after.
I think there was a lot more falling flat than there was actual success and enjoyment with this particular episode. And besides have an interesting idea, it was almost like the wraparound was wasted on a bad episode.
Yeah.
Like that's
Yeah.
that's the like I was like, oh, this is a cool way to tie everything in, but overall it was kind of a It was very like it was, as Jeremy Johns would say, I'll forget it in T-minus 1 day.
I'm gonna forget about it in T-minus 10 seconds. Yep, already forgot.
Yep, I mean it was one of those things that when we actually look back on all of them, I'll probably forget most of what was going on. I might remember Monkey Paw and remembering that there was a cool wraparound, but for the most part, Not really.
Yeah. David?
No, definitely disappointed for sure, especially because like experiencing the first episode as well. It holds up
Yeah.
still to like today, after what, over 30 years. You know, that's
Let's hope it picks that up a little bit in the next one.
yeah.
Yeah.
For the love of God, let's hope.
Yeah, that'd be nice. So yeah, Brandon, you wanna
I'll
wrap
take
it
us
up,
out.
brother?
Yep. Thank
Let's
you,
rip it
everyone.
up.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us for our second dissection of the Simpsons Treehouse of Horror episodes. You've been listening to the Midwest Horror Network October 2020 special. Don't forget to follow us on all of our social medias, including here on YouTube, Spotify, Anchor, Facebook and Instagram, and Slasher at Midwest Horror Network.
And of course, please check out our awesome narrative show, Living Nightmares, episode 1, 2, and 3 are both up currently right now. And also, if you could be so kind, share, share, and subscribe anywhere you can. Let everyone you know about that, because we could really use the support, and we want to get this out to as many people as we can, so we can continue having fun and bringing you all the great content of the Midwest horror.
Happy October, everyone.
Yeah, thank you.